AMA. I think it's called Ask Me Anything. Brother Johnson, 89. Any regrets or missed opportunities that bother you? I assume he's talking about while I've been hunting. Lots of them. A missed opportunity while hunting is when I missed a great big hank in Arizona. That hurts just thinking about that one. Wild West, Roger G. What was your career before becoming a hunting personality? Well, depends on how far back you want to go. When I was in grade school, I had a bait shop in my mom's little diner. Then I sold illegal contraband fireworks. Then I did a lot of logging. Worked in a machine shop as the swamper cleanup guy. Worked for my Uncle Larry in his concrete supply company. And then after that, I worked in a sawmill while I went to college. For 33 years, I was a CPA. People say, Randy, how do I get your job? I wonder if that'll be one of the questions. I tell them, if you want my job and you don't want to go broke, have a really good day job. Trent Priest, when's the garage sale? About every 2 or 3 years, I have a come and get it event where all the stuff that people send us and extra stuff we have that now has been replaced, I just tell folks, be at my shop at 8 o'clock Saturday morning and come and get it. And all the money goes to the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So I don't know when the next come and get it event will be. Brian, a bunch of letters, 87. When are you going to take the plunge and start your own ice cream joint or buy a DQ franchise? Probably not going to do that. I tried twice to buy the Dairy Queen on North 7th here in Bozeman, and the person sold it to somebody else. ADOC 65. Spicy or savory? We know what spicy does to you with the 5-alarm chili. That being said, do you like spicy food in general? Well, if you consider pepper to be spicy, then I like spicy food. Everyone's favorite show. That's quite a handle. Do you think humans are destined to travel to the stars? Or will we suffer an extinction event, self-imposed or otherwise, before we make it out of our solar system? I don't think we're going to the stars, being there however many million light years away. I don't think anyone's going to live long enough to travel for 1 million years to get to a star. Will we suffer an extinction event? Well, history says we probably will. Claire Campbell, 1. My fiance and I are getting married in June of 2022 in the Bitterroot Valley of Montana. Do you officiate weddings? No, I don't officiate weddings. I mean, I eloped. I didn't even have a wedding, so I can't imagine what my wife would say if I found time to go officiate someone else's wedding when I didn't even have time for her and I to have a wedding. Chad Rawl. Randy, at what age are you going to change from Randy Newberg to Randy Oldberg? I think I'm already well past Randy Newberg. I'm like beyond I'm probably migrating past the Randy Oldberg stage and passing through that even. I wonder if they want to know the story of my family's name. You're going to hear it whether you want to or not, I guess. My grandfather, great-grandfather, migrated, came over from Sweden. This is all on my dad's side, which is whose name I carry. And the last name was Johansson. Now, this is the story as it's told to me, and my grandmother vouched for it. So, like most grandfathers and great-grandfathers, you don't believe anything they say unless grandma confirms it. But his name was Carl Johansson, and in northern Minnesota, they all went to work in the iron mines. So you'd show up that day to see if there was a job. And if some guy died down in the mine, they'd skid him out and come out and say, all right, who's next? And so the story was that they said Carl Johansson and like 5 guys raised their hand, and he didn't get the job that day, so he went and changed his name to Newberg. Cambacel Outdoors. What is your favorite kitchen gadget? I'm a huge fan of the air fryer movement. but the crock pot is probably my favorite kitchen gadget. I don't know if this counts as a kitchen gadget, but my food saver, man, without that, life gets complicated. Where I grew up, what you did is you went and caught these really tasty walleyes. And then you put them in a bag, like a baggie or a milk carton full of water, and you froze them that way. And it pretty much destroyed them. Now with the food saver, you put them in there, they're fresh, just like new. Tim Sauerwald. What was the one thing you did as a kid all the time the kids nowadays never do? Oh man, we could talk forever on this one. I used to trap minnows and sell them. I used to pick night crawlers and sell them. I used to build forts. We made our own slingshots and we'd go shoot birds and squirrels and eat them. We fished every day. And I don't see kids, very seldom do you see a kid with his bicycle and a fishing rod. It's like, oh, we got to set aside family time if we're going fishing. Not us. We lived along the river, and if you wanted to find the kids in town, go down to the river. The odds are that's where they were at. We pretty much weren't allowed in the house if it was daylight. Uh-oh, Troy O. I grew up in Minnesota also. I'm a big Vikings fan also. Oh man, that's too bad. Who were some of your favorite players? So we never had cable TV. We didn't get a TV till I think I was 5 or 6, and then it was black and white. And then we got one channel that was out of Winnipeg, CBC. So I watched way more hockey than I did football. And then my dad, he really splurged, man. He went and got one of those big antennas. You'd go out there and you kind of had a pipe wrench and you'd spin it a certain direction and he'd yell at you, oh, wait, oh, you got it. Oh, there you go. And then we could get the Duluth networks, and that's when we got to watch the Vikings. My dad was a big Vikings fan. Yeah, if I sat down and thought about it, I could probably name both the starting defense and offense of the Vikings from 1975 if you really wanted me to waste your time. But. All right, Duck Hunter 28. I'd like to know, what tires do you run on those unforgiving mountain roads? I was in Montana a few years ago. Crazy, all the flat tires one comes across from sharp rocks. Yeah. On my old Titans, I used to run Cooper Discover AT3s. On my new Raptor, I have BF Goodrich. Oh, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done? Oh boy, how much time you got? Got thrown in jail in Mexico. That wasn't that smart. As a really little kid, about 7, my uncles talked me into trying to blow up the train bridge in town. That wasn't that smart. But as an adult, the dumbest thing I probably ever did was, I didn't realize, well, I did realize, but I was too immature to take advantage of it, what an amazing gift I had in my wife when we were dating. And you know, we're like dating for 8 or 10 months, and she says, she was trying to think of how to diplomatically say, you know, are we ever going to talk about getting married? And she asked me, I still remember this because it was a stupid part. Dumb. Yeah, it's completely dumb on my part. But she says, you know, are you serious about this, or is this just like a casual relationship for you? And here's how dumb I am. I said, I don't know, let me think about that. And that was the end of lunch. She got up, walked out. This was before cell phones and all this stuff. And she wouldn't take my calls for about 3 weeks. Whew, that was dumb, really dumb. Brian Brannon, best thing you've done as parents to help raise your kids? If I'd raised 6 kids, I would feel more confident in answering this question as an expert, but this is just a guess. For me, it was let my kid be whatever he wanted to be, not what I wanted him to be. Let him go do what he wants to do. Encourage him no matter what that was. And don't be afraid to provide some discipline and some structure. And do fun things with them. Take them out, do things with them that teach them responsibility, like hunting and fishing and stuff we do. So, Pandabs. What are your top 3 favorite songs currently? In my jukebox right now, the top 3 songs I listen to, it depends. It would be either by Patti Loveless, Dwight Yoakam, I Love It, John Prine, maybe a few others, but. Aaron Paulum, when are you running for president? Hashtag Newberg 2024. I don't think you gotta worry about that. My wife has told me if I get into politics, I'll be finding a new wife. So, there you go. Kip Swim, what was the biggest risk you have ever taken and how did it work out? Oh, that's easy. My wife and I made the decision, even though she was now a stay-at-home mom, that I'd quit my CPA job, we'd take all of our savings, we'd go borrow some money, and I'd start my own CPA firm. So it turned out great. Shannon Kirk, as an accountant, tips on managing money so I can hunt more. You know, I think I'm gonna do a podcast or a Elk Talk Live episode about these kind of topics. So tips for managing your money is don't go into debt for anything that depreciates. Only go into debt for something that appreciates, i.e. probably a house. Drive old junker cars. My main daily car over there is, we've had it for 15 years. It's a 2006 Honda Pilot with almost 200,000 miles on it. And I'll just do this. This is the simple accountant math in my head. I've penciled out what it costs per mile to drive my Ford Raptor with gas, repairs, maintenance, depreciation, all that other stuff. It's costing me about 50 or 60 cents per mile over the course of driving that rig for 100,000, miles. Because I could sell it for something at the end. So the total operating costs and everything else. Running my my Honda Pilot cost me about 30 cents a mile, if that even, but we'll say 30 cents. So on the very small end, I'm saving 20 cents per mile for every mile that I put on my Pilot versus put on my truck. So if I put $20,000 a year, or 20,000 miles a year on my Honda Pilot, I've just saved $4,000. Because I'm willing to drive an old, it's reliable, yeah, it's got cost to keep it running, but so $4,000 a year, I can do quite a bit of hunting on $4,000 a year. I could go on and on about things, just stuff where, do you really need that? Okay, you buy it, and there's this warm, fuzzy glow for about a day or two. And then you got to start looking at either, one, it's really bad, you're making payments on it, or two, you're looking at how much your savings account went down, and you're like, now I don't dare go spend money on this trip or that trip or whatever because, I just don't have as much in savings as I'd like. So, have goals and stick to them, live within your means. I know it sounds very elementary, but it's mostly the discipline to do it. Everything I have is paid for. We worked hard to pay off our mortgage early and everything else. I got a boat here that is my wife's. That boat is 18 years old, and we take good care of it. We take really good care of our stuff. We don't abuse it and beat it up, so it lasts a long time. And we value experiences more than we do things. So think about that as you're managing your money too. MichaelLuke.xlr8. What type of activities do you do to stay in shape outside of hunting season? I only do one activity, hike. Right down here, from where I'm sitting, about a mile from here, there's a trail. And if I get on that trail and I'm energetic, I can walk that trail. And there are trails that would take me all the way to Yellowstone Park if I wanted to go all 70 miles to do it. I don't do that, but I hike. I can't think of anything that replicates what I need to have as far as tone, conditioning, strength, flexibility for elk hunting, as well as hiking with a pack. And if I want more strength conditioning, I put more weight in the pack. If I want more cardio, I lighten the pack and I just try to hike faster. So It's free. I've never had a gym membership in my life. So going back to that, how do you live within your means? Gym memberships. Jameson Kerr 01. What was the 3 hardest things about starting your own business? The first one is knowing what you're in business for. A good friend of mine, Linda, she always said, you're usually in business for 4 or 5 years before you really know what you're in business for. Which means you usually have a business plan and it's out the window within about 6 months. The landscape changes, the opportunities change, the market changes. So one of the hard things is having a business plan that's adaptable enough, but yet one you can stick to, being properly capitalized, and having the support. And I can tell you beyond any doubt, if it was not for having a wife that has supported everything I've done, and that goes both ways. I mean, if she puts her mind, she wants to do something, I'm 100% on board with her. But having that support is probably where I see a lot of businesses fail. It just takes a lot to run your own business and start it. And if you don't have it, if you don't have that support, good luck. You're missing one of the critical components. Look at that, the bucket is empty. I don't know if this accomplishes what the crew wanted, but those are the answers I have, and I'm sticking to them. Thanks for watching.